Love pies. Pies are absolutely, they're an essential food item.
You know, I was always a bit of a naughty sort of prefect too, like I didn't always sort of toe the line, so I think that's something that definitely has stayed with me.
And there was never any grey ox in our house. I learnt from a very young age you make the gravy from scratch.
And I moved from cows to people, which we'll talk about later.
First, Mum and Dad were share farmers, and then Mum was also working at the hospital, so I used to help get my brother off to school and go and help Dad milk the cows and look after the potty calves. But we were a unit and we were a team, and it was a pretty special way to grow up. And I think about that now and I think how lucky I was.
We lived on a farm for the first couple of years. It made me as a person. I was a really small, asthmatic kid. Everything that my parents had always said about the people and the genuineness and the decency of everyone in the country was true.
My dad worked for Qantas, so every couple of years we'd have a new posting and we'd end up in a different country. So I had a pretty eclectic childhood, I suppose. And I think too that having that childhood that I did makes me so appreciate living in a rural community. And that's what really got me when we moved home here to Nimminabel.
I was the only kid at school that wanted to be a dairy farmer, which was quite unusual where I was going to school. It was in Western Sydney. It was typical suburban life, if you like. But I had that link, thankfully, through my family, and it felt fantastic. In fact, when I went out of Sydney and I became a dairy farmer.
One of my first jobs, both at school and at uni, was as a tutor for school kids. And I realised through that everyone has different capacities and capabilities, but that everyone has an innate sense of potential, and it's about working out how to unlock that. That's the key to success.
Well, my first job on the farm was to feed the potty calves. I was only a little kid, but it gave you that sense of responsibility. It taught me about caring.
I've grown up always playing team sports in some way, shape or form, particularly rugby league. There's always been a sense that you can't just sit back and watch the game from the side. I need to get into the middle of the paddock and help drive the game. I can't just sit back on the sidelines and just watch the game.
And when Duncan and I got married and he decided he wanted to move back here, everything was so foreign to me. I mean, I distinctly remember going out to lunch at someone's house and the daughters came in on their horses and they'd all been out, you know, mustering sheep, and they had their own dogs and they were so capable. And I came back to Duncan, I just burst into tears and I said, I can't even work out which bin I'm meant to put the rubbish in, you know, because there was the burn bin and there was the normal bin and there was the bin to go to the tip and there was... So I felt pretty useless, you know, and I think that is something that I really see now, is that country people, and when I talk about a lot of country women, it's that resilience that they have and that ability to do everything. And that was something that, you know, I really reflect on a lot now because I see it in my children. So although I wasn't that person when I came here, I can see how capable my girls are going to be because of the upbringing that they've had.
Obviously, I've had to live in the city for the last 7 years. That's where the head office is, but I'm so excited that I'm now up in the North Coast. I'm back in a regional community again, and I'm part of that community where their passion and their drive and their energy and their integrity is so paramount. It's an exciting time for me.
My mother was a great cook, her mother was a great cook, my dad's mother was a great cook. So cooking and food, and where that food came from was very much a part of my brother and my upbringing. Whenever we're sick, it's always chicken stock at our house. You know, making that stock and making people feel good through food is very much a part of who I am and who our family is. And that took us from a farm, and you know, now I've worked and started a business alongside my parents and my husband. We successfully operated a food business, and that was a really exciting time in my life. And my brother's doing it now in Dorrigo, and it's good to be able to walk back in there and be able to help him out when the dishes are full in the sink. We get in there and get the dishes through for him because it's hard work.
I'm married to Zenda, and Zenda's been rescuing animals all her life. And we've got cattle, we've got horses, we've got donkeys, we've got goats, we've got cats, dogs, chooks, we've got everything. But it's fantastic, they're part of your family.
I love the fact that you can have a cracker of a frost and just walk outside and feel that crunch under your feet. And then it just sort of opens up into this magical day with this enormous blue sky.
I now get up and go for a walk on the beach, which I'm incredibly lucky that I can do, and come back and cook my eggs. I love my scrambled eggs.
In terms of what I need every day, I need to know that my family are okay and they're right beside me. And even though that's sometimes at a distance, they're there. My husband makes all of this possible for Jack and Emily, our two kids, 16 and 12, who've been part of a long journey in politics, and they sustain us, but they're our biggest priority, and that sets us and grounds us and does keep us very real.
Working at head office was by far the best professional and personal experience of my life. The group of people who have worked there over the last 7 years are incredible. They are so smart and motivated and capable.
Politics is all about relationships. Farming, dairy farming is all about your relationship with your animals as well. They are the lifeblood of your business. You need to look after them. And I moved from cows to people.
And so the only party that represented who I was and where I came from was the Nationals. There were good people around me that supported me and encouraged me to have a voice and make a difference.
We have a really strong coalition in New South Wales between us and the Liberal Party. And that's great, and it delivers good outcomes for the people. But we must never forget that we're different parties, entirely separate entities, and we have unique agendas.
We need to listen to people, and we need to make people feel that while you've got me for this 10 minutes, I'm yours and I'm listening, and I may not agree and I might not be able to fix it, but I'm going to hear you out.
That you have to make decisions, particularly hard decisions that communities won't like. But it's about not losing sight of where you need to be. It's about keeping focused on that try line. You might not always like how you're going to get there, but you know that when you get there, you're going to kick some goals.
I think the most challenging thing in politics is the disconnect between city and country. And with that becomes policies that actually hurt country people and hurt the people of Oxley.
But I've always had that, I don't know, that sense that the Hunter Valley is home. We've got world-class wines. We've got world-class mines. We've got world-class equines. I do know that some of the best pies can come from the Upper Hunter, but I'm not going to tell you where. You're going to have to come up here and find out for yourself.